Hi guys, this is Bruce Belfield from Fort Lauderdale Jiu-Jitsu, and I'm excited to be making a very important video today covering the topic of how to choose the right martial arts school for you. Choosing the right martial arts school is a very individual decision. So I've made a list of 6 questions to ask yourself when trying to decide what is the best school for you. So let's begin. Number 1 on the list is, what are your top priorities? People come to the martial arts for a wide range of reasons, and so to choose the right school, you first have to ask yourself, what are your top priorities? Some people really want self-defense. That's the number 1 thing for them. Other people are new to the area and they're just looking to make some friends. Some people are more sport competitor people and they want to enter sport competitions and win medals and trophies. Other people are looking for their children to develop better grades, better discipline, more focus, more respect, and so they're more interested in the personal development aspect. Some adults are looking for physical fitness and stress relief. And so there is no right or wrong answer here, but the important thing is to really stop and think for a moment, what is it that you're really attracted to when you're thinking of the martial arts? That's the first place to start. Number 2 on the list is actually picking the right martial art to address your need. Now, in another video, we talked about the difference between Jiu-Jitsu and the other martial arts, and we used an analogy of an umbrella. And so if you want a full explanation, check that video out. But a quick recap here is that if you think of Jiu-Jitsu as an umbrella, the other martial arts are specialties that fall underneath this umbrella, okay? And so you have different martial arts that address surprise attacks for self-defense, more of the striking and clinching aspect, the takedowns and the ground grappling. And so to give an example of picking the right martial art for you, if your top priority is getting in a good workout and you just want a little bit of stress relief, then you might look at some of the striking arts to go in there and hit a heavy bag and just let it all out after a hard day's work. If you're interested in competing in some of the sport tournaments that might be around your area, then you might think of checking out some of the sport grappling schools like sport jiu-jitsu or judo or sambo. If you're interested in purely just the standing self-defense aspect and you like to learn how to defend in case somebody has a knife or a gun, then you might check out the surprise self-defense things like Aikido or Krav Maga, which focus on that standing surprise aspect. Now, if the total self-defense is something that you're interested in, then obviously I highly recommend Jiu-Jitsu because it addresses all of these aspects, and we're going to cover every basis that you would need for a real-world self-defense situation. Number 3 on the list is actually understanding the individual schools that are in your area. Now this is where it's going to take a little bit of research, where you might check out their website, check out their social media, give them a telephone call, pop into the school and watch a class, or maybe take a free lesson. Most schools will offer some sort of free trial in order for you to see what they have to offer. Number 1, is the school a real martial arts school, or is it more of a daycare? And some people, that's what they need. They need an after-school daycare, somebody to pick up the kids after school. They really don't care too much about the martial arts aspect. They just need to make sure the kids get picked up, fed, teach a little bit of martial arts to the kids, and then send them on their way, and that's fine. But other people, they're interested more in a real professional martial arts program. So you want to see, which is it? Is it a real martial arts school, or is it more of a daycare? Another way to evaluate a school is to check out, is it more oriented towards sports competitions, or are they more oriented towards self-defense? Very rarely have I seen a school address both of those aspects. Now, I have seen a lot of schools advertise that they address both, but when you really examine what they focus on the mat, I think you're clearly going to see that they either funnel their focus towards the sport tournaments or towards self-defense. Another thing to check out is how much of the personal development aspect are they addressing on the mat. Some people don't want that. Some people just want to go in and learn to fight. But other people, learning the personal development aspect, the philosophy, the discipline, the focus, is very important to them. And so when you're looking at the classes, is that actually addressed? Is the instructor having a little mat chat with the students where they're talking about life and philosophy and what the martial arts teaches? Is it something that is explicitly a part of the program with character development sheets and reading assignments? Or is it something that's more of a side effect where the student is supposed to just draw these conclusions from the hard physical training? And so the more important the personal development aspect is to you, the more that should be formalized on the mat and should be very apparent in the school. Finally, when evaluating the school, I think that you have to look at how important is safety to you, and is that a priority in the school? For many people, I believe safety is a priority, and one thing that you want to notice is that the more the school is focused towards creating sport champions, the more safety accidents possibly that could occur, because the training is going to be a little bit more physical. You're going to have a lot of the younger people who are really looking to get in there and bang away on each other as they're preparing for these tournaments, and sometimes injuries and accidents do happen when the training is that intense. Number 4 on the list of choosing the right martial arts school for yourself is the instructor credentials of the school, and do those align with what your top priorities are? So for instance, if your top priority is sport competition, does the instructor have a lot of experience in that area? Is the instructor a world champion? Have they trained other champions? And so that's very important. Now, when you're looking at self-defense, does the instructor have real-world self-defense experience beyond just competing in sport tournaments? Does the instructor have any law enforcement experience themselves? Has the instructor ever been a bouncer before? Has the instructor ever testified in a use of force trial? Does the instructor actually know the state statute when it comes to self-defense and use of force? And that's very important, because whatever you're learning in regards to self-defense must be legal and in compliance with state statutes. So that's very important. Another important thing to check out when it comes to the instructor is who is actually teaching the classes on a day-to-day basis. There's many schools where the instructor who owns the school is a very credentialed person, but that's not actually who's teaching the classes on a day-to-day basis. Or even if the instructor who has the credentials is at the school teaching, they might save themselves for teaching the very high-level advanced classes, and they pawn off the teaching of the basic classes and the children's classes to one of the lower instructors. So you want to really check out who is actually teaching the classes on a day-to-day basis. Finally, when it comes to who is teaching the classes, if the personal development and life success aspect of martial arts is something that's important for you or for your child, who is teaching the class? Are they teenagers, teenage instructors who really don't have that much life experience themselves? Because if they don't, how are they going to coach others in life experience when they don't really have too much? Or is the instructor an older individual who has experienced life and who can guide children in the correct way and be able to transmit those with some trust and authenticity? Number 5 on the list of questions to ask yourself when choosing the right martial arts school is the question of location. And when you think about location, what you want to think about is convenience versus your desire for the best. Again, there's no right or wrong answer here. For some people, they have a very, very limited time and their schedule is full. And so for them, convenience is going to be of the utmost importance, because if you have to make a 20-minute drive across town, that is never going to work for a very, very busy schedule. However, for some people, their desire to train at the best school for them is going to make it so that they're willing to drive a little bit further, and convenience falls into second place behind their desire for the best. And finally, number 6 on the list is checking out your budget, okay? Now, everybody is in different life circumstances. For a college kid who's just graduating college and just getting out into the workforce, they might not have that much disposable income. And so choosing a school that fits in that limited budget is going to be a big consideration for them. Now, again, there's no right or wrong answer here, but the best way to think of it is very similar to choosing a college. For some people, choosing an inexpensive local community college is all that their budget allows. And again, I would rather somebody be training than not training. So if you have to go for a less expensive option, that's the way to go. If you have a little bit more disposable income, then choosing a martial arts school, or choosing a college, if we're sticking with the analogy, like Harvard or some sort of Ivy League school, might be desirable, because at the end of the day, very often you get what you pay for. And so you really want to examine your budget and try to choose the best school that your budget affords. I hope this list of 6 questions has really helped clarify for you guys some important questions to ask yourself when choosing the right martial arts school. If you still have any other questions, I would be happy to help you pick the right school. I really want for everybody to train at the right school for themselves. So give me a call, send me an email, and I'd be happy to discuss it further with you, okay? Thank you guys for watching, and I hope this video helped.